you're okay. If you are, if that thing goes right to the top of Mount Everest, you're going to be swerving lanes.
Like, hey-hoo.
Yeah, right. You're going to be like, swerving lanes all over the place. Welcome to the podcast today that has two faces only mothers could love. Hello.
That is so true. Speaking of, my mom's in town.
Oh, yeah. Yes, holy cow.
We talked about this on the show, but for those of you who are podcasters only, I officially bought a house with Zach.
It's so exciting.
I'm so excited. It was such an easy experience. I know that cannot be said for all.
Yeah.
But it was such an easy experience. And I'm already moving in clothes today, and we just got the keys yesterday.
Gosh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part is, and don't mind me, I'm moving my camera over a little bit because I just realized feel like I'm leaning
I don't like
somewhere.
my position either.
Yeah, well, maybe if we were backwards, it would look better. But either way.
What were you going to say?
Well, no, I was going to say that it was tough for us because on this podcast, a while back, I mean, obviously, you had told me, and I somehow managed to keep that secret, which, is a miracle in itself. But we had alluded to it a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And
Two episodes ago.
We danced close
to
letting it out. But it's very exciting.
We pretty much said it 2 episodes ago, but now it's official, pen to paper. It was awesome. Yeah, I wish every buying experience was that easy. It was
I think you got very lucky. You had a situation, you knew the people, you had a good team working around you. New York used to have a horrible reputation for closing on a house. Like, you'd be waiting for an attorney for months and months and months. And I think somewhere somebody must have said something to him like, look, this is holding up the process here and it's not right.
Well, I will say this. So the people that I bought the house from, they are still dealing with their lawyers. They knew that they had to wrap up by a certain time, and they didn't. Like, I guess one of their lawyers went MIA, and then they had to go to another lawyer.
Where did they go?
I don't know. But Zach thinks he knows who it is, and he was like, "Oh, that tracks for them." So I think it just depends. Like you said, I had a really good team.
Just a real Chad, aren't they?
Yeah, a real Chad. I don't like the Chad one because one of my best friends is Chad. I prefer, how there's the Karen and then there's the Chad. I like the Karen and the Todd. The Todd. That's the other one I've heard floated around.
You can have your own.
I know Chad is the Karen of the men, but I don't like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with it still. You can come up with that.
No.
I'm not changing for you.
You can't pick the Todd?
No, I mean, on occasion. Maybe the Chad's slimy and the Todd's douchey.
Oh, okay.
Maybe?
Okay, yeah. No, I like that.
No, I'm sorry to any Todd that's not douchey. I mean, I'm not saying for sure you are.
Yeah, because there was a pastor at my uncle's church, and he's Todd, and I really like him.
He was a good Todd,
but right, but not all.
Yeah,
Give me your question first.
Okay, so you are very lucky. Well, I mean, also with the house and everything else, but you're very lucky because your hair stylist happens to be a very long-term friend, well outside of just doing your hair.
Yes, yeah, she's been one of my best friends for almost 17 years.
Which is really, really cool. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Not everybody has the relationship you have with the stylist. Sure, I remember my mom. My mom had Linda. God bless Linda.
Oh, Linda.
And Linda was great. And I remember being a little kid going over to Linda's and getting a piece of bologna while my mom was getting a permanent.
That's adorable. Do you know my mom? My mom's was Lily.
Lily.
Yes. And Lily had it out of her basement. So there was like 2 of the blow dryers, the big ones that go over your hair.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there was like she had like 2 of everything. And we always went into Lily's basement.
Well, Linda used to do my mom's hair. Shout out, and if anybody knows this woman up in Buffalo, if she's still alive.
I'm going to doubt it.
Shout out to Linda Gee. I'll never forget it. And her daughter, and I can't remember her daughter's first name, but we were close in age, but I was such a little kid.
Like Gee?
Yeah.
Oh, now I really want to find Linda.
Good old Linda. I don't know if she's alive or not, but she did my mom's hair for years. Anyway, that's not the thing. Here's the question. Mm-hmm. If your barber or your hairstylist ever raised prices but didn't tell you until after the haircut.
Oh, that's such a good question already.
Are you going to get pissed? And maybe it's only a few dollars, maybe a $3 increase if it's a guy. It might be more like a $10 increase for the women. Seems you guys pay more.
I used to work for a hair salon. and this definitely happened.
Oh.
Well, it happened with the raising of the prices. So I don't get mad because times have changed. And how else are they going to get a raise, right? They have to implement it themselves.
Shouldn't they say that in advance, though, and say, hey, Allie,
Yes.
before you sit down and we start dyeing the roots,
Yes.
you got to know my prices have changed a little bit. That's the way you would expect it to go, but that's not what happened.
Yes, that is exactly how it should go, because the owner of the salon that I worked at, she would actually send letters to her clients.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a very nice touch of, hey, my prices have changed. And the reason why she did this is because, actually a couple reasons, but one of the things that she did was by sending the letter, she would say, so she would say in a way of like, if you're not able to still use me as your stylist, we have other stylists that might be in a price range that you're more comfortable with. Here are their names, and here is how you schedule with them. So
Right.
that was really good because it was on paper. I also want to tell you a little secret. The reason why some stylists do this is to filter clients out.
Oh, I figured as much. Yeah. I
Yes.
figured that there was some people that you might want to move on to someone else,
Yes,
or
yeah.
another facility altogether.
Yes. Yeah. No, you should say beforehand. Yes.
Okay, so it would tick you off though if you suddenly went up. You're now moving up to the pay part where you would do your tipping, you would do your paying, and you're like, normally this is a 50. Why suddenly 62?
Right. And then, but that's the other hard thing, Scott, is like you get so many different clients who maybe are not all regular clients. Like I'm a regular. I'm 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks, I get my hair cut, colored, I do the waxing, the whole 9 yards. But maybe you're somebody that you forgot that they are only like every 16 weeks. And it's not regular enough for me to notify you. So that makes it really hard too.
Would you give them less of a tip if you walked up to the register, it went from 50 to 60? You had planned on saying, well, I was going to give whatever I was going to give. Would you cut it back?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, especially because you never want to tick off the hairstylist and you want to come back and get great service again. So I might say like, oh, did you raise your prices?
No.
Oh, yes, I did. But no, those types of things don't tick me off. But you're right. There should be an etiquette for that.
Okay. All right. So we somewhat agree in that regard.
Yes. But it's not going to, I'm never going to break up with Sonya. I mean, she would have to like do some major damage, which by the way, I have a funny little story.
Yeah.
So me, my significant other, and his best friend and wife, we were all at a concert the other day. So as you can see, like my hair is like half black, half orange. And the other day, his best friend goes, so what is Allie's original hair color? And he goes, gray.
I was going to do it too. I'm like, at this point, gray.
And I said, that's right. It totally is gray.
How gray would you be if you didn't color it? Because you're really not old.
Thank you. I would probably be very gray. My grandmother was fully gray by the time she was 16.
Well, you've well surpassed 16. You're not really old, but you've well surpassed 16.
But it's, well, yeah, sometimes you'll see it grow in. And yes, I think it's a genetic thing. And, working with you for so long.
That's likely. Do you think you'd be fully gray at this point, or would there be black streaks? Would it be?
I would probably be a little black, a little peppery, but I would be pretty gray. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Both my grandmothers.
When are you going to Bob Barker it out? By the way, rest in peace, R.I.P. Bob Barker. But when are you going to Bob Barker it out and just be like, that's it. I'm coming out. One day I was a brunette. Now I'm gray.
I was just talking about this with somebody recently who went gray over the past year, and she's younger than me and very gray. And she said, but now automatically people think I'm older because, and so that's what I'm trying to avoid is like, I don't want people to think I'm older again.
And I'm going to throw something at you. And I hope this isn't taken offensively. Well, first of all, I don't mean this directly about you, but I don't mean this offensively.
Sure.
Keep dyeing it as long as you can because
until it gets that uncomfortable where it looks like black shoe polish.
Yeah, that
was my dad, and we finally
when you look like Rudy Giuliani, it's time to knock it off.
Yeah.
No, but think about this for a second. I, as a guy, because we've played this pretend game a million times, and that's all it is. If I, as a guy, was with you in a physical relationship, there's a look about you that I like. I'm not saying I don't want to grow old with you. I mean, look, there's people I've wanted to grow old with and die with, and then they just end up being, piles of crap. But if that was the case, then I feel down the line a ways, but like you're sexy the way you look now. If you suddenly took it out, I bet you Zach would be like, not sure how actively I want to stay sexual with you.
Dude, I'm going to ask him this today because
don't be mad at him if he tells you, look, I really prefer it dyed.
I don't know.
Pardon me while I get my blue Solo cup.
He's made some references to like, if something changes that he likes and doesn't like I've plumped my lips. He's fine with that. But I've made some other changes and he says, I don't care for that. It's not his choice.
Yeah. Right.
I still give him the right to give an opinion because guess what? I say stuff about him. Like the way he styles his hair, I don't like it. I've never liked it. And I said to him recently, I was like, can we get a different product for your hairstyle? I want to change. I don't hate it, but I'm giving you
an option.
I'm giving you an opinion.
That's different though. If he suddenly said, well, you don't like the way I style my hair and he shaved it off, then you already have a hard enough time separating our names. Could you imagine?
Oh my God. And this will be the last thing I say about this. I feel like my delivery was great. So actually 2 things recently have been, a lot of times it's about the delivery, right? Mm-hmm. So the one thing was, it was about his hairstyle. So he had less product in it. And I said to him, like, oh my gosh, I love the way your hair looks like that. Did you like that?
Yeah.
We should style your hair like that. And so now he's heard it, where I'm the opposite. The one day I got this new perfume and he's like, I don't really care for that smell. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to still wear my smell.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, so
smell's tough though too, because if you really don't like the smell, it's not, look, not everything I'm talking about reverts back to a sexual situation, but it is about the overall attractiveness, which in a lot of cases will lead to where it could lead to.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What is the podcast? Why did I not just say to humping, know?
I'll tell you what. If he wore Aqua di Gio, nothing is going to make me go drier than if I smell that smell. So You're right. You're absolutely right.
And that's because your dad wears that smell, right?
I had an ex-boyfriend wear that smell. I had my dad wear that smell. A lot of people wear that smell. I don't like it. And so, if he wore it, I would say I can't. I just can't with that smell. He wouldn't want to wear the smell that my dad wore anyway, or my ex-boyfriend wore. It's the same as like if there's a perfume, I'm not going to wear a perfume that his ex-wife wore.
Oh, sure. Well, or even if it was just in general a perfume he didn't like, you'd have to. But I
know that's tough because I like very unusual smells.
But the you also give them, so it's a true treasure.
I was told something the other day. I love the smell of his armpits. I love the smell of him sweating. Well, yes, I was just talking about this with my girlfriend.
That makes sense because look. So they've said. So the experts have said, we smell the attraction before we see the attraction. Mm-hmm. Now, I debate that a little bit because I have a look in a certain look and style that I prefer.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it would go if the certain style and the certain look was there, but the smell didn't, match.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like your smell.
Who, me?
Yes, it's not bad.
My smell?
I don't like your smell.
What is my smell?
It's not, whatever deodorant or whatever you use, whenever, it's not very often, but Scott and I will get close once in a blue because we have to do a work thing where I'm like, oh, let me show you like this edit or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not, but I'm guessing you probably don't like the smell of my perfume. It's
well,
very
no, but now
strong.
I'm wondering about this because
no, you don't smell bad.
Well, no, because I always have a clean smell.
Right.
And this is not my natural, like, the scent that comes off of me.
No,
which
but
sounds really weird.
No, I think that's part of it is that you are a very clean person and it's fine, but there's something about your smell that does not appeal.
Is it the deodorant?
That's what I think it is. I think it's a mixture of like your own body smells and your deodorant. I don't like it.
Okay, now this
But I also don't get close to you very often and it doesn't matter. I'm not the one that has to spoon with you.
Well, currently no one does. So there you go. Let me ask you this then. In the years, because now I'm concerned, I am wondering because I have been using a different deodorant. Now
I'll explain
that. No. It's more of a question of in all the years that we've been around each other, because for those that don't know, Allie and I have worked together we're going to be going on 18 years next year. This is what we're getting with each other for, pretty much it. And shockingly, neither of us have self-destructed completely yet. So I guess we're going the long haul here,
Right.
Was there a time where the smell was not what you're explaining now? In other words, because right now I'm using Gillette antiperspirant deodorant, got it at Sam's Club. And if you think that
it's a pack of 12,
I did, but I'm on the last one,
You're like, I really got to use this. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll use it up. I mean, if you think that's what it is, I think I used to use the Right Guard. I'm wondering if that's what it is. Is it more that?
I think it's more your body smell, whatever the Scott smell is.
Well, now I wonder if it's my body wash, the Suave.
I think it's your pheromones. I don't care for the smell of your pheromones, but like you could smell my armpit right now and you might go, I don't like the smell of your pheromones.
Now, is my smell strong?
No, it's not.
Just when
it's
I'm
only
right there.
Right. It's only when we're really, really close together.
Whew.
And
because there are some people, you smell them way in advance, and I'm not talking BO. I'm not talking BO.
Right.
Like there is just some people that have that, and you're like,
You know who does? Our boss. Our boss, she has a very distinct smell.
I hadn't noticed hers.
Now, I have cat sat for her before, and her house smells like this. And don't tell her this. I don't like her smell either.
Don't tell her this. It's only a public podcast.
I don't know if she'll listen, though.
So this will be the one.
Right? I don't like her smell, whatever it is. And her house smells like it, too. And I don't like it either.
Now, you and I have talked about this.
Maybe I have a sensitive nose.
Every house has a smell.
Yes.
But you had said my house has a smell, but not a bad smell, you said once?
No, it doesn't have a bad smell. Your body doesn't smell exactly like your house. So her body smells like her house. And I don't like either of those smells.
Oh, interesting.
And it's just a preference. It's not anything but that. Your house and your house smell and your body smell are a little bit different. But I just... your armpit smell, whatever it is, your Scott pheromones.
Well, if it is the armpit, I can correct that. Not that I'm planning on having you stick your nose in my armpit.
Exactly. Like I said, I don't have to cuddle with you. It's just not whatever Zach uses. I love. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I'll find out. Like now, this is so weird.
Now that you own a house together, you're going to find it all out.
We've been living together for 4 years, but I do know what he uses. It's I think it's Degree because it's green. But isn't it funny? Like I haven't personally registered it because I don't buy that stuff for him because we don't shop together like that.
Right.
So
that's really interesting though. And it's okay. So I'm glad that I don't have one of those overpowering, I'm not talking BO smells. I'm glad that it's not one of those overpowering, like, oh, Scott was in the room. You can really smell it.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Nope, not at all. I don't think I have one of those smells either.
No, you don't. I mean, there's been a few perfumes that, but you kind of work through those. There's very rare that you come in and I'm like, it just doesn't quite get me.
The one day, it was recently, I wore the perfume that somebody gave me, and even I came in, I was like, I don't like the way I smell.
I don't like it. Well, I smell
like your grandma.
This all started when we were talking about, the hair dye thing, because here's the thing, and this is strictly just a thought, you guys can agree, disagree. Do you really want to rock the boat of him wanting you to rock the boat, if you know what I'm saying? No,
but I am going to ask him though, because I want to know if that makes a difference in his mind, because he's not gray and his parents aren't either. They just, again, they don't have that gene where they gray early, and all of my family does. My mom is very gray. My dad's very gray. My brother's very gray.
But you can still hold it off. So that's what I'm saying. He may like you. You may have to have the conversation with him and say, if you prefer me like this, and I know that I'm going to get that special time, if you know what I mean, then keep doing what you're doing, Yeah.
It kind of falls in the line of lots of things. Like the other thing is...
if he looks at you and says, I'm not ready for granny porn yet.
Right? Speaking of, I have a really embarrassing story. Has to do with porn. Oh my God, it's so good. It is so good. Actually, I have two stories that kind of revolve around porn. Do you want to hear them?
So we got to take a break and then do it?
Yes.
Perfect.
Come right
Porn's
back.
Next, people.
Of course, you can go down the rabbit hole of looking at all the cute puppies and kitties at chemungspca.org. But did you know there's other stuff that the Chemung SPCA does? Like get tips and tricks at chemungspca.org. especially if you have a chewer in the family. Your fur baby loves to jump up on you or even gets so excited they pull the leash too much. Have you ever heard of the Tooth Fairy Fund? One of the things you can do is donate to the Chemung County SPCA and help other families pay for teeth cleanings and extractions. And if you're down on your luck, there's the Pet Food Pantry. The Chemung County SPCA can provide you, your dog, or cat with a little food to help you through the tough times. So while you're at ChemungSPCA.org looking at the oodles and oodles of cuteness, check out their other services like spay and neuter clinics, affordable vaccination clinics, behavior problems, pet food pantry, tooth fairy service, end-of-life services, or even temporary boarding resources. Now go spoil a doggy or kitty, even if it's not your own.
Hey, we're back with the Scott and Allie Not For Air podcast, and it's about this time that we should remind you, hopefully you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. If you're on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, become a Patreon member, and that's a joke. I'm just kidding. We don't have that set up.
We need to set up a Patreon.
You go ahead and do it and buy us lunch if we ever get $5. I'm certainly I'm not asking the audience for money.
But we could do a Patreon and we could always send out shirts or something like that. Now that I won't be Airbnb-ing anymore, I need a side hustle. Although I am bartending a wedding in a couple weeks. It'll be, there's somebody in this area that she owns a wedding venue. Asked me a long time ago. This will probably be the only time I do it because I'm getting to the point where I don't want a side hustle where my weekends are ate alive. But if we have a Patreon, we're already doing this anyway.
Okay. Sell me, I guess.
Here's my porn story.
Yes, you got two, you said.
Two. So I had a girls' weekend in Chautauqua, and my one girlfriend, she goes, hey, do you remember, and we've told the story on the podcast too, she goes, do you remember that one time that we were babysitting and found the people's porn?
Yes.
And I said, I tell this story on the podcast.
Well, we've told it on the show too over the years.
Yes, yeah. So she reminded me of something in that story that I forgot. She goes, do you remember what they were laying on? And I said, no, I don't remember what they were laying on. And she goes, they were laying on like a bearskin rug.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the most
Oh my gosh. That's
typical?
so cliche.
I know. It was so great. And I love the fact that she just remembered it and said, oh, hey, do you remember when we watched that porn? But that actually came up because of another story that one of my other girlfriends told. So my one girlfriend was in the car with her boss. And you know how you and I drive in the car together? Like, you're technically my boss.
No, but I'm worried that this is... No. I have a feeling I know what's coming, and I'm feeling really, really nervous for her.
Oh, you should. So, so she's in the car with her boss. And you know how on your screen, you can see who's texted you or what you're listening to or what you're watching? So, like, mine right now would be, the Not For Air podcast or whatever.
Sure.
So anyway, it'll show you what you were listening to or what you were watching or whatever on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, wait, I wrote it down. Hold on a second.
Oh, you wrote down what she was watching.
I had
Actually,
to.
let me write it down. Let me get a pen.
This is so funny because I was like, I have to write this down. I always take like show notes and stuff like that on my phone. So I have to, because I said, well, I'm absolutely going to talk about this. Oh, here it is. Oh my God. I'm so glad I wrote this down. So, she said her and her boss are just talking and they're on their way to lunch or something like that. And she looks over and her boss didn't realize that on the screen it said explosive loads for dirty hose.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh.
And then she goes, by the end, you could tell that the boss realized it and had tried to like change the channel, because you know how you can change the source or the input.
Yes.
So like, let's just listen to like, Scott and Allie.
Yeah, that's right. We should be next on the list, right after explosive loads for dirty hose.
Wait, let me.
It was great.
I gotta make sure. Explosive loads for dirty hose.
Yeah, that's great. All right, I've committed that to memory. But that being said,
like that's what your boss said too.
I thought you were going to say, like, and this is the fear. So if you use the Apple iPhone, all right, you know how there's the private browser?
Oh, like the dark mode or something,
well,
or whatever.
There's
Yeah,
the regular, but then there's private.
Yeah.
If you're smart, I hear you
Sure.
use the private for that because,
I never
you're-
do.
You just load it right up and go. Well, it's in your history there. So if somebody were to, yes.
You know, I actually don't. I never watch porn, really. We talked about this extensively over the weekend. I'm not a big porn watcher. I'm not going to say I've never done it. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying
To each his own, but
Right.
for those that are the heavy users,
who love explosive loads for dirty hoes.
You're damn right. So the funny part about that is if you go to the private, that's one thing. However, here's what happens with Apple with the Safari,
Yes.
or just on the iPhone. So
Scott's like, here's the hub.
so
what
if
happened?
if it turns out you don't switch back over to your normal, I mean, if I look at mine, I've got Elmira School District, a tab there. I've got my attorney. I've got,
Right.
not explosive loads for dirty hose.
Right.
But that might be in the private because you might want to save it and go back to it. Like sometimes you've actually found one you're like, ooh, there's more to that too. So this could be, this could do the deed a couple
This
times.
requires a part 2.
Yes, it does. Well, my fear was you were going to say that she had to open up her browser and instead of going to the one with all the tabs where you have much more innocent things or whatever, it was on the private and all of a sudden there it is on the, the X videos with the which would be really embarrassing too.
Oh, I feel like just as embarrassing. Seeing it
Equally.
right on the car.
Yeah,
And
equally
especially
embarrassing.
because then I go to the whole point of, okay, does this mean that you were looking and enjoying this on your ride in? Because we're going to lunch. So the last thing that you were doing was watching a video and, playing Tickletown on your tutu?
Tickletown.
What? That's what you're doing? Is that what wakes
Well,
you
I
up?
mean,
I wake up with coffee. You wake up with explosive loads.
For dirty hose.
For dirty hose.
I would say that it would alarm me if you're doing that when you're driving. Well, first of all, if you're a lady, I guess it's a little easier, but then I don't know how you climax. Some people are quite to the top of the mountain. And I mean, if you're a softer delivery, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Again, it's the podcast. I don't know why I'm being delicate, but I'll go delicate.
Sure.
But if you're a softer delivery, you're okay. If you are, if that thing goes right to the top of Mount Everest, you're going to be sworving lanes. Yeah, right. You're going to be like, swerving lanes all over the place. There's a visual for you. So, you've got to know you got to know.
Right.
You got to know you, I guess. Or it was before you left.
Or that, but regardless, it was. Or maybe you took a quick 15. Oh, I left something in my car. Hold on one second. I got to run and get something. I mean,
Is that why Doug, our sales guy's always down in his car?
Probably.
Oh, wow. Constantly. We're like, what are you doing? Every 20 minutes, we're
and
like,
I thought he was
weird.
just getting stoned.
Could be. I mean, oh, man. All right. So while we're on the subject of silly, let me ask you this question. Would you smile in a mugshot? Let's say that's a really great, you go get arrested.
Yes.
Listen to the way I put that. You go get arrested. And, there you are. They're like, all right, Ms. Payne, we're going to have to do the mugshot now. Would you smile?
I've got a great answer for this. It depends on my crime.
Oh, that's a great answer.
My thing is, let's say hypothetically
Hypothetically.
that I was doing the dirty on a lawn of a winery on Seneca Lake.
That's a full-out laugh in that mugshot. You're like,
right. I'm absolutely like,
Yeah.
Now, if it was something,
you beat the shit out of somebody walking out of Walmart. No, you smile.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah,
You smile.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of the
okay.
crime.
If I'm embezzling money, I don't think I'm going to smile.
More embarrassment?
Yeah. Money laundering. If this is like
Not embarrassed, fucking your brains out on the winery lawn or beating the shit out of somebody at a Walmart. But boy, the embezzling money, that got you.
I could live with both of those things. All right, what's your answer?
Probably. You know what? I hadn't thought about my answer until you said your answer, and I agree with you. I think it would have to do with the crime, because if it was something where you harm someone in a different way other than they deserved a good smacking at the Walmart, like I was describing. I think there's a degree of shame that comes along with it, something like that. If it's a situation where admittedly, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. Because
Okay.
56% of people say they'd smile in a mugshot, but have they thought about the crime?
Here's the thing. I had an ex-boyfriend. I don't think he actually got charged with it, but I think they put him in the cop car for indecent exposure for peeing outside. Something so silly, right? And this was, let's see. So him and I were together 17 years ago. So this is like 18, 19 years ago. That's one I would smile in. I'm going to tell you another one. See, now I'm just going to give you all the scenarios.
By the way, I mixed that up. 24% would smile in their mugshot. 56 said definitely not. 19% maybe. I think we're in the maybe because it depends on the crime.
Yeah. So here's another one, and I talk about this very regularly. If my neighbor was beating a dog,
oh, don't smile.
No. So then here's what I'm going to have to do is, and I joke about this, but I mean it, then I'm going to have to take about 50 bars of soap and put them in a pillowcase. And all of a sudden I have to swing it around very close to his face and his body.
Yeah.
So then
potentially hitting him.
Thank you, Scott. So with that case, I feel good about the crime that I committed. I really do. But I'm not going to smile in that mugshot. Even though I feel good.
Boy, that's the one though. I mean, I feel like you could.
I'm not. I'm still so mad about the crime he committed.
All right.
That's the same with all of a sudden, and I don't want to get too much into this, but say if you hurt a child, all of a sudden I'm at your house and I accidentally fell on top of you while holding a knife. Oops, I don't know how that happened.
Jeez.
So I've thought about all these things.
Well,
I've thought about all of these things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake when you were crossing the street.
Exactly.
Whoopsie.
Exactly. After you harmed my niece or something.
Right,
Right.
right.
I don't know how that happened. That one I might smile. If I hit the gas.
It's funny because we get those mug shots.
Yeah.
Normally the people that are stealing the welfare money or have done something they shouldn't to the kid.
Oh.
Smiling is definitely not what they would do. In fact, honestly, some of them only have 3 teeth and their hair's like, you're like.
Kind of like mine today. On that note.
Oh, on that note.
Right,
No, that's Rizzo Collins. Actually, you know what? Let it say hi on the podcast. Hey, Rizzo, we're recording the podcast. Say hello to everybody.
What's up?
There you go.
God,
I'll call you
Rizzo.
back. There it is. No idea why he's calling me. I mean, I guess it's been 20 minutes without him.
All right. Well,
Are we really done?
yeah. I gotta go move into my house, man.
All right. Well, then I'll come over and see it a little bit later. It's been fun.
All right. See ya. Bye.